Beautiful. So if you're experiencing, like if you're feeling drained and exhausted and overextended, this is going to help. It's if you're over giving your time, effort, and energy, always like bending over backwards for other people, this can just leave you drained and stretched thin when you're saying yes, when you want to say no, and doing, giving. So then you're also in the right place if you want to express yourself, but you tend to just play it safe, like that's your default way. So you bite your tongue instead of being honest, because you don't want to cause conflict or be judged or criticized. You go with the flow, like just saying like whatever's easiest, and you can tend to shift and change depending on who you're around. So finally, it'll help if you talk yourself out of going after what you want. If you stay in places that aren't aligned because changing feels too hard or scary or risky or selfish. And finally, if you know that you're meant for more, right, but you still hesitate and wait for the right time, the confidence, the clarity to come. So if that is you, you can just pop me in the chat or give me a wave. I can't see everyone, but that's okay. So these problems, they're caused by a few mistakes, right? Mistake number one is trying to think your way to confidence and clarity. The reason this doesn't work, if you're overthinking and weighing up your options and rehearsing conversations, replaying them after they're done, right, thinking that that's going to help you prepare. The reason it doesn't work is because your logical mind is designed to analyze and compare and protect you, right? It's not there to choose your direction and alignment. And especially if your nervous system is dysregulated, like if you're feeling anxious or stressed a lot of the time, if you're in a state of survival, this actually hijacks the brain. And then the brain starts looping, not looking for your best solution for something that is aligned, but to avoid risk, right? It starts thinking in fear, in like, what if something goes wrong? What are they going to think about me? Am I doing it right? And this is the logical mind's job, right? Unfortunately, from this point, you can't access your full self-trust or your intuition or your longer term thinking, which is why you can still feel unclear, right? The more you think, the more lost you feel. And it's because clarity isn't found in logic, it's felt in the body, right? It comes when you feel safe and you feel grounded and you feel regulated, not when you're spiraling through the thoughts. So until you get out of your head and into your body, then the mind is always going to create more questions than it is answers. And it makes it really hard to move forward. Now, the second mistake is putting other people first, right? And this could be perceived as being kind and helpful, like giving a lot to others, saying yes, helping them out, taking on their problems and sort of shape-shifting to be who they want you to be. This is a mistake because it dishonors you, especially if you're, not expressing your real needs, if you're not honoring your no or making space for your desires, right? You start to disconnect from yourself. And this disconnection from what you really want, so when you're thinking something and saying another, that's what makes you feel drained and exhausted. It's because you're not honoring yourself. And finally, the mistake people make is playing it safe instead of being true to themselves, right? So that's not always saying what they really mean. Sweeping things under the rug, wearing masks. And it is normal to do this, to play it safe. It's sort of like a crowd mentality, because we learn early on, like society conditions us to believe that authenticity is risky, it's unsafe, and it's often easier just to fit in and go with the flow. Right. And when you're doing this and you're playing safe, you're not actually living for you, right? You're managing other people's expectations. You're doing what you think that you should. And this disconnects you from your truth. And then the more that you're going to doubt yourself when you're doing this, because your confidence doesn't come when you're fitting in and not being true to yourself and playing it safe, right? It comes when you're aligned in your thoughts, feelings, and actions. So when you think one thing and say it, that's when you feel confident because you're honoring who you really are. And I want to teach you how to change that. That is the goal of today. I am planning to show you by rewiring your mind, like gaining control of your thoughts and your emotions, the stuff going on in your head is the best way to stop holding yourself back. It's the best way to learn to speak up and gain the confidence to go all in on what you actually want. right? So by the end of this training, I'll show you the only 3 things that you need to focus on so that you don't waste a lot of time using practices that don't really work. So just a little bit of housekeeping. This training is not going to work for you if you're looking for a quick fix, a magic wand. If you're wanting change but not willing to take responsibility or do something about it, right? If you don't believe in energy, frequency, or the subconscious mind, then this isn't going to really help you. And if you're closed-minded or you think you know it all, like I really want for you to be open-minded and just absorb this as much as you can. It's not going to be for you if you get offended and when someone delivers their best stuff for 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and then makes an offer at the end. Because I'm going to do that today. I am reopening a group program to teach you how to rewire your mind, and I will announce all the details towards the end of that. And so if you apply what I teach you, it has the potential to change your life. But the key word here is apply. It's one thing to understand it and to know it and to intellectualize it, but it's another thing to actually apply it in your life. So a little bit of context about me on how rewiring has changed my life. I'll just go through my story pretty quickly. When I was young, we'll start in childhood because that's where it usually starts for most of us. You ask my parents how I was when I was young, and I was always in La La Land or off with the fairies, right? I was always very like mystical and quite connected to other worlds, as most of us are, because when we're young, we are in a theta brainwave state, which means our perception is a lot more open. And when we get older, we close this off. I remember there was one memory that I had lost a tooth and I had placed it under my pillow and I was waiting for the tooth fairy to come. And this was really exciting. I sort of stayed up and I was hoping and waiting. And I remember very vividly that I saw like a gold like orb come into my room. And I was like, I've seen the tooth fairy. Like that was exciting for me. And I had gone out and told everyone, told my family, I saw the tooth fairy last night, and context, my family are doctors, my parents are both doctors, and they just said, that's not real. That didn't happen. It didn't happen, right? And so I learned that that part of me wasn't safe. It wasn't safe to share my like mystical side. I learned to just play it safe to fit in, because it was easier to just shut that part of me down and keep the peace and not be outside of the norm. So I started to just become easygoing and just go with the flow, never really like speaking my truth or my needs. But inside I grew up to be very angry and sad and feeling very alone. I was also very sarcastic. I have outgrown that pattern now, which I am glad to have. And so I learned to keep the peace. There was also like a lot of tension going on at home with my parents divorcing, quite messy. And so that was just how I learned to be. My parents wanted me to be either a doctor or a lawyer. That was basically it. There was very high standards in my home. And I learned that my worth as a human was in my ability to get a good job and to be productive and to do, right? I ended up going to school, getting good grades. I actually went to law school. But I only lasted 6 months. I couldn't see myself doing this forever. Like it was a lot of reading, a lot of intellectualizing, a lot of head work, and it felt really draining. And so I dropped out of uni. I had an opportunity to go work at a bar for good money at my age, and I did that. And I got into a relationship with someone that I had met at that job. And in that relationship, which lasted 7 years, I very much became the chameleon type. Like I would just be who I thought I should be rather than who I was. I would bite my tongue, keep the peace, avoid conflict, all of that. I would just wear masks to fit in. Inside, I was very unfulfilled, anxious. I was very much in a state of survival, even though I didn't know that. And I lost myself through work. Like work was my output. I would always just do, and I lost myself through that. I burnt myself out. And I got to a point where I didn't really know who I was or what I wanted. And I knew that there had to be more. I had to make a decision. I'm like, this can't be it, right? And so in a search for change, I looked into, I started with crystals. I ended up creating a crystal business through COVID, and working with crystals caused me to have a spiritual awakening. And so I started searching for change, and it was this Joe Dispenza book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, that really changed things for me, because it showed me that I was the problem. And even though that was uncomfortable, confronting truth, it gave me my power back, because Joe talks about, if you created it, then you can change it. Like, you're powerful. And he would just say, lose your mind and create a new one. I was like, cool, I would love to do that. Let's do that. I started researching. I tried all the things, breathwork, meditation, journaling, and nothing really clicked until I found theta healing. The reason that this clicked for me was the theta brainwave promise, like a fast track way to rewire your mind. And I didn't want to spend hours meditating or figuring out my problems. I just wanted fast. So I tried it, and I ended up getting hooked. I ended up going all in on that. Despite it being really scary, I remember making the decision to go to a theta healing training, and I didn't even tell my partner at the time, because I couldn't. There was a lot of shame around potentially going to be a healer and doing a healing art, because I had valued being very intellectual and normal. So I went to do the first training, and this sort of started a journey of me of doing inner work and emotional healing, regulating my nervous system, learning to sit with the feelings and the discomfort. And, I released a lot of fear and aloneness and smallness from my system. And then I had a big lesson come in about not settling for less. So I got a light bulb moment after maybe like 1 year of doing my healing work, of like, you got to leave your relationship. Like, it was not serving me for many reasons. And so I trusted that, and I did it. I ended the relationship, I moved out, and I basically restarted my life. Within a few months, I entered a new long distance relationship, which brought up all of my stuff. My avoidance patterns. I was very avoidant in relationships. My triggers, my fears, all of that came up. And so I really had to, if I wanted to make it work, I really had to work on myself and heal my masculine, my feminine. My feminine was a big one, because it's easy. I was very guarded. Like, I just didn't want to let anyone in. So working through all of that, my inner child, my subconscious work, which gave me the confidence to learn how to communicate and speak up in relationships, partly because Daniel was very much valuing communication. And so I had to adapt to that to make it work. And that was a big lesson for me. So after all of that, like, life got literally like brighter and happier and better. I created more wholesome habits. And I ended up moving down to Newcastle to create a new life down in Newcastle. I was originally in the Gold Coast. I remember when he asked me to move to Newcastle, and my avoidant got really scared, and I tried to end it. And like, I'm grateful that I had the tools, because I was able to see where that was coming from. It wasn't my truth and like, you don't want this relationship to work. I was just acting from a fear response. So today, I get to do this work. I love this work. I get to work with amazing clients. My life is quite peaceful and not a lot of drama, right? So I get to live out my purpose, which was a direct result of doing this work. And it really changed my entire life when I chose to rewire my mind and body. Now, I'm not a natural born healer or energy worker, and even though I'm qualified, I'm still learning. I'm still learning every day and growing and refining. And if I can do it, then anyone can. I was very much an intellectual person for most of my life. So we'll get into the why really quick, in why it's important to change your mind. And we can start with like conditioning. When we're young, our environment is teaching us how to be, how to fit into the world, how to survive. And so we're very much operating from a place of subconscious mind when we are 1 to 7. And research shows that 90% of our thoughts, emotions, and actions are actually coming from the subconscious beliefs that form during childhood, right? And so this is all stored within our subconscious mind. And then we start to automate these thoughts and beliefs and actions to conserve energy, because it would be very exhausting to create new thoughts or think about everything critically when we're going about life. So an example of this is like, if you're driving a route that you have driven many, many times before, and you get to the destination and you're like, how did I even get here? I wasn't even conscious. Like I didn't know how, I wasn't aware and doing it. Like when you get in a car and do your seatbelt and turn the key and put it into gear, you don't think about that. It's all automatic. Same with brushing your teeth. You're not really thinking about like how I should be doing this. You just do it because your mind has now automated that. And so your beliefs are what shapes your reality. This is a quote by Joe Dispenza. If you're thinking the same thoughts, making the same choices, demonstrating the same behaviors, creating the same experiences, and producing the same emotions every day, then your reality stays the same because your future is just rerunning your past. And so the best way to change your future is to heal your past, is to change your past. And I get it. Sometimes it's easier to want to just keep going and not dig into the past, not deal with any of it. Unfortunately, I tried this for a long time. Unfortunately, avoiding it doesn't make it disappear. It just puts it on repeat and intensifies it. And the patterns that you're not processing, they end up creating again and again, and they end up intensifying. So what I'll show you today is like how easy it is, because if you can do it properly when you're processing stuff from the past, it only really takes 90 seconds. And so a small amount of discomfort is worth it for a lifetime of change. Now, we've sort of covered this. Your subconscious is creating your actions and reactions. When you get triggered and have an emotional outburst, you're not thinking about it. It just happens automatically. Same if you're procrastinating, not taking action, you're being passive, playing small, that's coming from a subconscious place as well. So there's always a reason that you are acting a certain way, and the answers are within your subconscious. I guess the question here is like, you wouldn't let a 7-year-old or your 7-year-old self choose who you're with or what you're doing for work, right? And so why would you let your 7-year-old beliefs run your life, right? This is what most of society do. They don't question deeper. They just allow it to be, and they call it fate, right? But normal in society is sick. We live in a sick society where 20% of people are depressed and anxious. They're fearful because they watch the news and are bombarded with terrible things happening. 66% of Australians in 2022 were overweight or obese, which is a huge number. And we are very much focused on like materialism and accumulating of things. Most people have unfulfilling relationships, right? They're repeating patterns unconsciously. They're doing habits even though they know that it's not good for them. They're living on autopilot where their brain's just in automatic mode and not questioning or thinking or consciously choosing. They're in that fear, anxiety, and having low confidence and self-esteem because of that. So the risk of being normal and following what is normal, which is chasing society's ideas of your dream life and not speaking up and just fitting in, is living a life that's uninspired and disconnected from your true potential. Like if you're doing this, of course, that you feel off, of course it feels wrong, right? Because you were never meant to live a life that was filtered and flat. You weren't meant to filter yourself. Like the whole point of life is to live. And so you were meant to build a life that is alive, like it's in motion, it's lit up, and you're doing more of what makes you feel good, right? And so if you're somewhere in here where life could be a bit better, and you feel that gap between what is and who you believe that you can be, then that's not a problem, because this gap becomes in your awareness when your real self is ready to lead. So if there's a part of you that's like, I don't want to be here anymore, that's because your real self is like, let's do it. Let's take the reins on this. The solution here is just do the opposite of what is normal, right? If normal is sick and anxious, and I don't know why you would want to be normal. The opposite is really looking deeper than surface level. It's working with your subconscious, your body, mind, following your heart, not just what is safe or what your head tells you to do, right? It's letting stuff go, not holding on to grudges and pain from the past. It's speaking and living your truth and being who you are. Now, I get the concerns around, like, if I go and do what is not normal, well, I might be judged, I might be criticized. Yeah, it's true. And in crabland. If one crab tries to climb out of the bucket, the other crabs will pull it down. Similar to a tall poppy syndrome. It's not that you're doing the wrong thing, it's that it threatens the program. And so when you're trying to do something for you and live for you, other people don't want that, because it reflects back to others where they're not doing that, and it makes them uncomfortable. But fortunately, that discomfort of others isn't yours to carry. Like, it's not yours. Okay. And so there's a choice really to start to live and act as the main character in your life, not just play a supporting role in someone else's. Because if you're not consciously choosing, then you get manipulated by others and then put into a little box. And we don't want that. So you get to choose whether you're just sitting on the sidelines of your life and not really taking action and people pleasing and doing all those things, or you can choose to be confident, to stand up, speak out, and go after the things that you want and to live for you. Now, a valid concern here is like, what if I lose friends? Yes, it happens. It's not your fault. It's not that you failed the relationship. It's because you grew, right? And if a relationship falls away because you grew, then it wasn't built on truth. It wasn't meant to last. Okay. And so you sort of have to be okay with this, because wouldn't you rather be loved for who you are, not who you pretend to be in the masks that you wear? I always hear people like, oh, I've always been this way. I get it. If you spent your entire life like overgiving and pleasing and being the one who holds it all together, then it's easy to start to confuse these habits of being with who you are. But they're not you, they're not your identity, they're your conditioning, right? And conditioning is flexible, it's changeable. Science has shown that your mind is neuroplastic, it can be rewired. You've already changed many, many times before, and you're going to continue to change. That's just a normal part of life, right? And with the right tools, you can do it fast and intentionally. The fastest way, or the best way, the fastest and the best way to build this confidence from within and to start living for you is to go all in, is to rewire your body mind, right? Is to use your body's intelligence to rewire the conditioning that keeps you in patterns of being small, so that you can take back your power and start living your dream life. Now, the reason that subconscious work works is because 95 or 90% of your actions, reactions are coming from your subconscious. And so if we can get in there, then we can change it. It's people struggle when they try to just do conscious effort, right? And they try harder to beat their conditioning. But if your mind and body aren't feeling safe, or you're not thinking that you're capable of it, no amount of trying harder is going to work. You actually have to regulate the nervous system, rewire the beliefs, so that you can stop holding yourself back, right? If you think about like the 90%, the 10%, no wonder if you're only using the 10%, it feels really hard. It feels like an uphill battle. It's not meant to be, okay? There's a lot of ways that we can get better and happier and healthier and more whole. Now, talk therapy is one of them. A lot of people spend many years in talk therapy. I believe it's not as effective because therapy often it gives you insight and awareness of your past and your patterns, but that awareness isn't enough to rewire the loop, right? Subconscious work or healing is what brings it to completion. And so if you see in people that go to therapy, they spend a long time, but often they're looking back at the same thing week after week and still trying to understand and dig a little bit deeper. This is because it's not completing it. The same goes for breath work and Reiki. It's good for energy maintenance and some sort of somatic processing, but it doesn't reprogram the beliefs and it doesn't get to the root cause. And so that's why it's not as effective. The same with affirmations is, putting conscious thoughts on top of unconscious thoughts isn't going to work, because the subconscious is more powerful than the conscious. And so if you're trying to affirm your way to I'm confident at speaking up and I go after what I want without worrying what other people think, but subconsciously you're like deathly afraid of being judged, then it's going to feel really inauthentic and it's not going to work. Okay. Change isn't meant to feel hard. It's not meant to feel like a fight or an uphill battle. It only feels hard when you're trying to shift deeper patterns with surface level tools, with your conscious mind. Okay. But when you start to work with your subconscious and get to the place where the patterns actually live, like the cause of the patterns, change happens naturally, right? You start to move downhill rather than uphill. It helps you get back your power to live as the, not as a pawn, but as a player, right? If you're a pawn in the game of chess, you get blocked, you can't move anymore. But the queen has free range to move around. And so rewiring helps you do that. It helps you direct your life, not just live out the character of your life. The way that it does this is because if you're in the subconscious, it's very neuroplastic in that it can shift really quick. So you can make instant changes within your mind. And if you think about like traditional ways of changing your behavior, it takes a lot of willpower and discipline and effort, and it takes about 66 days to have a new pattern of behavior stick. But when you can change the thought that creates the behavior, then the behavioral action naturally follows. So you don't have to do the 66 days every time and hustle and willpower your way to change, but you can go within your mind and change the thought that creates the habit, and then the habit naturally changes. The final thing, I guess, is that it gets to a root cause, right? It changes where the patterns live. It's not just managing symptoms, but it's clearing the cause. When I say it's going to give you back your power, I don't mean this in like a spiritual, fluffy way. Declassified documents from the CIA confirm that your body is an energy field, that you're capable of influencing and shaping your reality through your consciousness. So your intention, your focus, and your frequency. This was released in 1983, I believe. It's called the Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process. It's a great resource online if you want to learn how to work with your body's intelligence. That's ready available. The reason I tell you this is just because if you see truth in it, then fabulous, I can help you realize that. That is all. So let's go for the 3 steps to rewire your body mind. Before we do, let's just take a deep breath because I feel like I've been talking a lot, and let's regulate a little bit. So just taking a deep breath into your belly. Your belly to rise, your chest to rise, and then exhaling. One more here. And you can extend the length of your exhale. To signal to your mind that you're safe, you're present, to calm your nerves. Okay, thank you for breathing with me. I call this the main character method, the 3 steps, right? Because it's all about being able to live and act as the main character of your life, to take action towards your goals. It's about going from being passive to being powerful. Okay, the first step is to calm your mind and body. It's about slowing down and regulating your nervous system, because you can't create your dream life if your body is unregulated and it's bracing for impact all the time. The reason that it is a challenge is because if your nervous system isn't feeling safe to receive what you're trying to achieve, then it's going to sabotage you, right? You get close to what you want and then you overthink it, you freeze, you fawn, you procrastinate, or you sabotage, right? It's not that you're consciously choosing that you don't want this thing. It's that your nervous system is saying, like, I can't receive that. I can't hold that because it's not safe, right? Your nervous system is purely to scan for risks and keep you safe. And so if it's in survival, then that's exactly what it's going to do. So the way to bypass this is teaching your body that it's safe before you create the thing, before you go after it. And this looks like slowing down. It looks like calming down the noise in your mind so that you can be more present and you can break out of chronic stress and survival. And the goal of this pillar is just to feel calm more often than you are in survival. Okay. And some concerns around this is like nervous system work isn't just for trauma. A lot of people think that it is, but nervous system work is for someone who's in chronic stress, someone who's overthinking, their mind doesn't shut off, or they're busy and they can't relax without guilt. These are all causes of a nervous system that is unregulated. And so the first step is to soothe the body out of that survival mode. A lot of people try and meditate and they struggle. They're like, it doesn't work. I can't do it. I can't do it, right? Of course, it's a struggle because it's sort of like if you go to the gym and you expect to lift heavy weights without ever having trained before, or without building the strength first. You sort of work your way up to that. The same goes for meditation. It's a practice and it's a discipline. Like you build the skill to do it, and it becomes easier the more that you do, right? When you have the right tools and pathways, then it becomes a lot easier. And now just final thoughts here. And like when I grew up, I was very much like valuing my productivity, and my first thoughts around this is like, slowing down seems counterintuitive. It seems counterproductive, and like, won't I be less productive if I slow down? Valid, but it doesn't, because it makes you more precise, right? So when your system is calm and your mind's not spiraling in those thought loops and you're wasting energy on perfectionism and anxiety and overthinking, you do less, but you actually create more because you're more intentional about what you're creating. Okay. We can go a little bit deeper in here in like how I calm the body mind. The way that this works for rewiring is like there's a sort of access point to your subconscious, right? Meditation isn't enough, but it's about accessing a different brainwave state, a theta brainwave state, because theta is what gives you the ability to rewire. It's where your mind is neuroplastic. Okay. The theta brainwave is the last state before you go to sleep at night. So this delta wave here is like when you're sleeping, and this theta is right before that. Your everyday way of operating is beta. So this is when your like critical thinking mind is active, pretty much when people hang out here. Alpha you can get to when you meditate. You can slow down and get into that state of meditation. But we want to be in that theta brainwave because it is neuroplasticity, it's access to your subconscious. And if you have access to your subconscious, then you can become conscious of unconscious patterns so that you can change them. Right. There's a few ways to get to theta. Hours of meditation, which, like I said earlier, I don't really value. But there's also specific pathways, right? We can access a theta brainwave in 10 minutes or less with a specific intention and a visualization, right? So like you can access theta by syncing your brainwaves to frequency music. That's a great way to do it. But in my teachings, I sort of provide guided meditations to access that. So they're all under 15 minutes. I have 3 inside the program that I'm offering today. But it's to help you get into a theta brainwave without all the time and effort, and to sort of master the art of being able to alter your brainwave state at will. Because when you can access that theta brainwave, then all of the change that you desire becomes not only possible, but a bit easier, more effortless. Does that make sense as that first pillar? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat or somewhere. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm just trying to make it so I can see everyone, because I wasn't seeing any faces before, and I like to not feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, that's better. So the second part of this main character method is clearing your limits. It's rewiring how you think and feel, clearing out the stress and the static that's within the body mind. So limits would be emotions and beliefs, really, the two things. And the reason we want to clear out these is because if your mind and body is not aligned to where you're going, it's going to feel like an uphill battle. It's going to feel hard because 90% of your thoughts and beliefs and actions are coming from your subconscious. And if your subconscious isn't on board with where you're consciously going, then you can sabotage that, and it just feels like you're in resistance, right? So the answer here is bringing your somatic body, your body and your mind into alignment, because when you do it, it's not about creating force. You are in alignment, and so the actions become a lot easier. You can sort of flow with where you're going, right? And when your nervous system is on board and feeling safe, and your mind believes that you're capable and worthy, and you can achieve what you're after, then the confidence to do that becomes natural. The actions to do that become natural. So how we do this is we work on 3 bodies. So this is the 3 planes of correspondence. It's a Hermetic principle that you have your physical, mental, and spiritual body, right? You're removing stress, anxiety, limiting beliefs from within these planes. And rewiring happens on all of these levels, right? Typically, when you're starting, you work on the physical level and just releasing the emotional weight and static there. And then you can go up to the mental body. And then once you're sort of a bit clearer there, then you go up into the spiritual body and you can work with more energetic stuff. Now, I had someone ask me the other day, like, if I don't know what's going on in my subconscious mind because it is below conscious awareness, then how do I know what to rewire? That's a great question. You don't have to know all that's happening in your subconscious mind, okay? But being in a theta brainwave is what allows you to bypass the conscious mind and go straight into the subconscious, where the deeper patterns are. And so if you're in that right frequency, it's only a matter of asking the right questions, right? Because when you have the right questions and the right frequency, your system is so intelligent, it'll just show you what it is that you need to resolve or what's blocking you. So you just ask and you listen. With emotions, like if you're not sure where to start, it's about clearing out the lower frequency emotions, because this is what makes you happier. You get to climb this consciousness scale or this emotional guidance scale. And when you're in these higher states of feeling, then you start to attract higher states of experiences, because basic law of attraction, you attract what you are. Does that make sense? As that second pillar? Yeah. Beautiful. The third pillar, and I'm missing a slide here, give me a second, here is about creating your life. It's about choosing where you're going. So this is like your greater truth, your purpose, like what you're here to do. Okay. And we do this through remembering who you are, through your soul's purpose, right? It's a result of like clearing. So we sort of go in levels, and the more that you clear, the more that you hear. So the more that you remove from your system that is not you, then the more your answers about who you are and what you want to do, your inner wisdom becomes louder and more obvious. That's when you start to hear your purpose and your vision, but it's about removing what's in the way. We can also start sort of activating our truth when we start working on all 3 levels. The human mind or the human body has 3 brains or 3 centers of intelligence. So your mental body, which most people are familiar with, your logical, analytical mind. But you also have your heart center. Your heart center is your emotional compass and your center for desire. So this is where you find out like what it is that I want more of and what is for me. A lot of us are quite guarded in the heart space, and so when we start releasing the emotions, we can start feeling safer within the body. Then that's when we start to hear the truth of where we're going. It's also working with your gut as well. Your intuition. Like I said, the more that you clear, the more that you hear. So if you're like, oh, my intuition's not really strong or active, trust that it will come through when you remove all the stuff that's blocking it. Okay. We don't need to spend too much time here, but the main difference is that your brain is wanting safety and survival, right? It's looking for risk, and it's mitigating risk. And so if you're following your head brain, it's not always going to lead you to happiness. It's going to lead you to what's safe. Okay, your heart is always going to lead you to your truth, your joy. It doesn't really care about what makes sense. It cares about what feels right, what feels good. Okay. And does that make sense as like that third pillar? Yeah, beautiful. So this is a holistic approach in that you sort of need all three to work. If you're doing just calming work and regulating your nervous system and clearing your limits, you're going to start feeling happier and more aligned and taking action, right? It's going to be a little bit easier because you've sort of reworked the blocks in the place. But if you're not creating your life and connecting to your truth and purpose, then you're not going to have a clear direction. So you may still get lost on the pathway because you're not in alignment with the vision and where you're going. Okay, if you're clearing out your mind body, you're rewiring, and you're creating, but you're not calming your body and mind, then you will definitely start to feel the call towards more truth and purpose, and the actions might seem more clear, but you will still likely sabotage or struggle with the confidence and the second guessing and the overthinking, all those patterns that sort of sneakily get in the way if your nervous system isn't regulated, because you're still seeing the threat in the situation. And that makes it hard to change. If you're creating your life and connecting with your truth and purpose and knowing where you're going and you're calming your mind, you'll see your clear vision and you'll feel your goals within reach. It'll feel more achievable. But if you're not rewiring the body mind out of the conditioning, then your mind's still probably going to talk you out of it or sabotage where you're going. Okay. And so when all three are in harmony and you're using all three, you can align with your true self and start to create the life that you desire. It becomes a lot easier because you have the physical energy and clarity. You have the emotional, mental alignment, and you have the vision, right? So that is what helps you create your life more effortlessly and with confidence. And I hope that is making sense. This system is a system that I've created over my time doing this work. I've been doing this work maybe 5 years now. And it goes in order. So calm, clear, create. It's also holographic in the sense that it works on a micro and a macro level. What I mean by that is you could spend an entire lifetime going through this process, like calming down and then clearing and then creating. But you can also spend 10 minutes going through this process. Okay, so a bird's eye view is regulating your nervous system, rewiring your mind, and creating your life. Like that happens in order. But on a micro level, the process to rewiring the mind, this is the mind medicine map, which is the 4-step process on how to rewire your mind that I teach, is slowing down. And when you get into that theta state, once you're here, you can ask the strategic questions to find where it started so that you can release it. So it's about clearing, next releasing, removing what is in the way, and then creating or choosing the new way. Okay, so it's a system that works. If you ever get stuck in any of your healing work, it's that you can come back to this in, am I doing these 3 steps? And they happen in order. Okay, so we can start to apply this. So if you have, okay, to get a pen, paper, notebook, something you can just write on, just to help you get clarity on what it is that's holding you back and perhaps what needs to change to change that.
I use AI.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just putting a frequency music on whenever that's. Mm. Okay, so once you've got a piece of paper, draw out 2 triangles in like one on the top and one on the bottom. You'll want like half a page each with space to write around the triangle. And just what I think I might do to make this a little bit more powerful is get you into a theta brainwave state first so that you have a little bit more clarity on this. I think that is going to work. So we'll start with just the undesirable experience first, and then I'll guide a meditation, and then we'll complete the rest of this triangle. So what is it in your life that is a result that you don't want? Like, what is happening? And it might be like you're not speaking up, or you're not going after your goals, or just something like an undesirable experience that you're having in your life. Just write that down at the top above that first point of the triangle. And then the second one, I'll do a meditation after the second one. I'm just figuring this out on the spot. So the second part of the triangle is the actions that got you to that result. Okay, so you did something that caused that undesirable experience or result in your life. You did one thing or you did many things. That's okay. Just write down what comes to mind. And as we discussed, is that all actions are a result of a thought or an energy or a belief, like a subconscious belief. Okay, and so the third point of this triangle is going to be the thoughts and the energy that got you to that result. I'm gonna guide a meditation so we can go a little bit deeper in what thoughts and energy are causing those actions, so then we can rewire it. So if you are comfortable, just closing down the eyes and taking a deep breath. And this will be a meditation to a theta state. So with each breath, just softening a little bit more in your shoulders, perhaps calming or relaxing the space between your eyebrows. If your jaw is clenched, just releasing. Taking another deep breath into your heart space. And exhaling, extending the length of your exhale. One more. Okay. From here, we'll use our visualization and intention, and we're going to send our energy down through our body all the way down into the earth. So moving through your body, your legs, and out through your feet, going into the earth, going down, 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 through the core of Mother Earth. So here you might see a green light or a white light. Go there, go there. As you connect to the earth, just feeling into the nurturing energy, the groundedness of Mother Earth. And knowing that it is an infinite resource, start to gather that. So like you're creating a ball of energy between your hands, you can start to pull it all together. And then bring it up back into your body. So coming up through your feet, through your legs, through your hips. And as you move up your body, just opening and expanding your energy centers. So seeing a light open at your hips, moving up at your sacral, opening and expanding. Moving up, opening your solar plexus, seeing it open. Your heart. Your throat. Your third eye. And your crown. Stopping at the crown of your head, taking a deep breath. Noticing what it feels like to have your energy centers open and expanded. If you're visual, seeing all of the colors of the rainbow within your system. And then from your crown, see a beautiful ball of white light come towards you. And as it approaches, I want you to go inside this ball of light so that you are fully surrounded by this white light. If you're inside that ball, you're going to start to travel up into the universe. So going up past the stars, past the clouds, traveling at the speed of light, going past the white light, past the dark light, past the white light, through a golden light, a golden layer, seeing the color gold all around you. Moving through this golden layer, coming up and out till you see a darker layer that has all of the colors of the universe, sort of like a chrome. Move through this layer, noticing that it is thick, like honey. Move through the honey, coming up and out the other side into a beautiful pink mist. And seeing this like you're floating on a cloud of pink cotton candy. Allow this pink cotton candy to float you up higher and higher until you see a pearly white, iridescent white light. Go there now. And as you connect with this white light, just merge your entire body through, so your head, your chest, your hips, your feet, until you're fully in this light. And then just taking 3 deep breaths to integrate here. Now we're just going to use a visualization to connect you a little bit more. So imagining that there is a sun lounge that approaches you in your favorite color. You can simply sit or lay on this lounge and looking up, noticing that it's attached to a hot air balloon. Right, and this is going to be responsible for pulling you up higher and higher into the 7th plane, into this energy of creation of unconditional love and wisdom. Traveling up 10 million light frequencies. Go there now. And from here, just thinking about the triangle that we've done, the undesired experience, and then the actions that you have taken to get there. What was the dominant thought or energy or operating field that you were running from to create these actions? Allowing that first thought to be your answer. You can come in and write it down if you wish. We'll go back into the meditation, but Who were you being that caused you to take those actions that then created the undesirable experience? Okay, this is what we are going to let go of. But first, I want you just to think about what is the desired experience, the preferred experience that you want. So that you would rather, it could be a direct opposite of that undesirable. It's the result that you want. And who do you need to be? What thoughts do you need to think to then achieve that result? What is the operating field that you need to operate from to achieve your preferred experience? Just getting clear on that shift. What needs to change in your energy field? And then we're going to rewire that. I am going to just prompt you in changing that within yourself. And so the way that this works is through visualization and intention. And so the visualization here is seeing your silhouette in front of you. So just creating in your mind's eye a silhouette or outline of your body right in front of you. And from here, using the phrase, I choose to let go of the belief that, and we're going to just complete that sentence with what came through for you as the belief that is creating the undesired result. So I choose to let go of the belief that, and then the visualization is seeing this energy or belief be released from your system, from the silhouette in front of you, traveling up into the universe, all the way out of your body, going further and further away until it is no longer in your system. And just doing this again and again until you feel that you have let that go. You're in your subconscious mind, your neuroplastic mind is active. And so with a little bit of direction, your subconscious mind will respond. I choose to let go of the belief that, of the energy that, and see it leave. Once you feel that that has been shifted from your system, I can just come in and amplify that for you. I choose to believe that, right? What is the alternative that you wish? I choose to believe, I choose to think, I choose to feel. Set your intention and visualize that coming down from the universe into your silhouette. Feel the energy of the new belief coming into your system as you rewire your mind and body with what you choose, with how you wish to feel, who you wish to be. You could do it again. I choose to believe that. And then allowing yourself to receive that like a white light coming from the universe. That belief system, that emotional state weaving through your body, recoding your system on all 4 belief levels, every cell of your body, all parts of your life in the highest and the best way. And so it is done. It is done. It is done. Allowing yourself to sit with that feeling. Just get comfortable with that new operating field, that new way of thinking. Okay. Taking a deep breath here. And staying in that energy, what actions do you need to take? Or what actions does this version of you take that achieves this desired result? the specific things that you do, how you act, how you show up. Once you've got that, you can gently guide yourself back to the now, the room that you're in. You can visualize this like a falling feather, just gently, gently, gently bringing your awareness back into your body. Allowing yourself just to blend. If your body needs a gentle wake up, a gentle wiggle, bringing some movement back in. And when you arrive, when you feel comfortable to open your eyes, you will see that you have completed this second triangle. And so take some time, if you like, to just take some notes on this. In that this second triangle, we started with your desired result. Back. So what is it that you want, that you're creating, that you're calling in? Just taking a note, whatever came up in that meditation is perfect. It's the information that you need. And then what thoughts and actions or thoughts and energy field, operating field created that result? The new way of thinking, the new way of feeling. And then on the bottom left, you will have the actions that you take from this way of thinking and being to then create your new result. And I hope that you got some clarity there on what needs to change, what you can do different. Just letting me know with like a thumbs up if that helped you get more awareness. Beautiful. So the reason that I do this work is because I lost myself for so long in all of this, being who others wanted me to be and losing myself in work. My mission is really about helping people come back to themselves, to know who they are and what they want in life so that they can create it. Because then and only then, when people are living from their truth, their heart, then we're living with more happiness and passion, right? People no longer become victims to their circumstance, but they become creators of it. And when we're creators of our experience and we're taking responsibility for how things are going, then our relationships become healthier and deeper. We also get to bring our magic to the world, right? I very much have always had a vision of like world peace, where people are at peace within themselves and with others, and that are happy and healthy and feeling whole, right? To go after their dreams and speak up and rock the boat, like make waves, make magic. Because we're all born here with purpose and we're all born here innately powerful. We lose that along the way, and it's a beautiful thing to realize that when we can undo all the conditioning who we really are underneath that. And if we're not living out our purpose and living for ourselves, then we're actually doing others a disservice, right? Because some people need who you are truly, not who you showcase to the world. I've also got here like more hermetic principles: as above, so below, as within, so without. The whole thought of this is you change your mind and the world around you changes to reflect that. So when we start to do this and live inside out first rather than outside in, you get power to change your reality and to choose your experiences, right? To live with more joy and purpose and meaning and to grow. And so the obvious question is, how can you apply this system to leverage your true power and potential of your subconscious mind? Okay. Hopefully I've given you enough today that you can sort of trial and error it and work with what you have, or you can do it with me. And the way in which we would do that is that I am reopening a group experience that I ran, had to be like 8 months ago now, and it's back. And I'm really excited that it is back. The Passivity Project is really about helping you rewire your mind and body in 90 days. Okay. It's learning this system and applying it and being able to apply it is the most effective way to stop holding yourself back and have confidence to go after what you want, because you'll have a calm nervous system, a quiet mind, and a heart that is loud, right? Guiding you towards where you're going, your purpose, right? It's about learning to remove the conditioning so that you can speak your truth and make bolder decisions, take risks, and build relationships that light you up, right? Where we're working out or removing the conditioning that causes overthinking and spiraling and pleasing, right? And so by the end of the 90 days, my goal would be for you to know how to shift your brainwave states at will, to calm your body mind, navigate your psyche so that you can rewire your mind and not let your mind control you. This looks like being able to resolve any trigger or block that comes up. It's about connecting to your truth, your purpose, and building confidence from within. The confidence that comes from being in alignment. Okay, so I'm basically giving you what you need to create a clear mind, a happy life, and healthy relationships. Now, the way it's going to work is going to be the 3 months or 90 days weekly trainings on how to apply this. But also every month I will be hosting a group healing and energetic activation so that you can get into more clarity and confidence and self-expression so that you can then take action towards the life you're creating, right? So not only are you learning how to rewire yourself, but you're getting live demonstrations and healings where you can see all the tools in place and how it all comes together. There'll also be a community aspect so that you can connect with other people on the same journey. Plus, what I'm doing, and this is sort of a bonus, but it's hand in hand, is that you get access to the online course, right? So I've created a complete step-by-step training that walks you through those 4 steps to rewire your mind. So I touched on that, the mind medicine map. And this is available instantly. It's already created. So you would have instant and lifetime access to that, including updates to the trainings, the modules, and you get to work alongside me as we do this, as we implement the Calm, Clear, Create system. Now, this course is, I will go through like what's included. There's lots of different tools and meditations, and I'm going to be updating it live as we go. Okay. Now, a valid concern here is like, I don't know if I have the time to do this, to learn this, and it's so valid. But the thing is, like, healing doesn't have to take hours. It starts with just 10-15 minutes a day, right, of intentional time. I intentionally do it so that you're not adding more to your plate. Like the goal of this work is to remove things that are causing you to feel stressed and under pressure and to reconnect with you, right? So it's about removing those so that you can have more time. If you're not looping and thinking, then you have more time. Okay, all of the meditations are short, 15 minutes or less, but you can see how easy it is to get into a theta brainwave, in that we did that in probably 5 to 10 minutes max. Plus, if you have time to scroll and overthink and worry, then you have time to do this work to apply it. All you have to do is follow the steps, and what I would teach you to master is this map, right? It's simple. It's the art of transmutation, of changing your mind, changing one thing into another. So changing pain into purpose, fear into courage, right? Because when you have this, then you can master your mind. Your mind is no longer controlling you, okay? And I get it. Like it may sound like a lot of work, especially if you're sort of new to this world, and if you're already exhausted, yeah, it may feel overwhelming to learn this. What is overwhelming and exhausting is staying in the same loop, is creating the same patterns of overthinking, overgiving. Okay, this work isn't about adding more, it's about clearing what is taking away your time, what is causing you to be drained and exhausted. Okay, it's easier than you think. I've run this before, like I said, 8 months ago, and I've taken a few people through these trainings. I've had a couple women just change their belief on their own within just a few weeks, right? I remember when this was, I won't say her name, I remember when she did this and she was skeptical, and now I believe it, right? And that was the comment the next day: I'm feeling on top of the world, right? This was another client that did it within just a few weeks of, okay, I've replaced this emotion and now I feel powerful in doing that, right? This is what I love doing. Okay. It is a simple step-by-step process, and you have me to guide you through it. So in the program, there'll be 5 or more, I think there's actually 6 guided meditations that are short, 20 different tools, and 3 months of support to help you implement it and learn it, so that by the end of it, you know exactly what you're doing anytime you sit down. The goal of meditation, this is Joe Dispenza said this, and I'm adopting that, is like, you sit down to be a different person when you stand up. You don't just meditate for the sake of it, but you sit down and then you're a different person when you get up. And so having the tools to change how you think is what is going to enable you to do that. This is just an overview of the course materials. It's not a complete overview, but I'll run you through. In like, the first step is really the theta training, and so accessing that theta brainwave state. So we've got a little bit of like housework on understanding the subconscious, but there's tools to access that theta brainwave. So different ways that you can start to calm and regulate. And there's also 3 guided meditations here that take you direct to a theta state. Step 2 is finding the root cause. So this is when you have mastered the art of slowing down and getting into that meditative state and theta brainwave, then you can start looking at the root cause and finding it with strategic questioning. So first we learn how to like understand our subconscious mind and communicate with that, but then there's tools to dig deeper, like ways of strategic paths of questioning that will get you to the cause. Okay, because once you have the cause and you change it at the root, that's when things start to actually shift permanently. Now, module 3 is all about letting go. It's about the rewiring. Module 3 has a lot of different tools, right? There's visualizations in letting go of emotions, how to somatically process, how to release emotions, reparent your inner child, change beliefs, and some supportive tools for like healing and forgiveness. And I don't know exactly the number, how many tools there are, but the way that this is designed is not that you learn them all and master them all, right? It's about choosing which works and just doing one at a time. You don't have to have the whole system. As long as you follow those 4 steps, you can just pick one of these. So you may start with emotional release or inner child healing, and then master that before you move on to another tool. Okay. The final stage is letting in. It's creating your life, it's manifestation. So first we get clear on your purpose and your visions and your values, like anchoring in that direction of where you're going, your future self. And there's some meditations to help you achieve that, like what brings you joy, and manifesting and talking to your higher self. Now, like I said, it's not a comprehensive list of all the tools, and I'm building on it as we go. What I'm also doing as part of this group program is including a guided meditation, but this is a done for you subconscious rewiring track. Okay, so what that means is that this is designed to imitate a one-to-one session. You can sit down and sit in meditation. You can set your intention, relax and listen, and after the 30 minutes you will be a different person when you get up. It will take you to that root cause. It will help you release the beliefs, and it will help you rewire. So I'm including that for free, just as when you're coming in and learning, it's great to be able to do the healing alongside that. And the more that you listen to this, the more that you see the system come in and how it all works together. So then you're rewiring your mind as you're learning to do it yourself. Okay. People loved it when I did it last time. A few things I had to say was it was eye-opening, it was mind-opening, and I found a great lease on life. I was able to rewrite my thinking. right? A little patience can alter the world around you. Okay, I believe in this system, that I back it, in that if you're unhappy with the tools, the quality of the service, then you can just write to me for a full refund. So I do that for 14 days. Obviously, attend 2 of the calls and have a look at the course. But that's fine. I don't want unhappy customers. And so if you're unhappy in the first 14 days, then you can just have your money back. So fine. We can look at pricing. What does it cost? This could cost thousands if you're hiring the coach and the therapist and all of that. I'm not putting it anywhere near that. I am just trying to give you the tools to help you become your own source of confidence and your own creator, right? To be able to rewire your mind. And so what's included is the system, the tools, the sessions, right? There's 12 community sessions, including those 3 group healings, and knowing how to work with your body's intelligence to rewire your mind, right? All of this, I'm doing it for $997. And the promise is really just to rewire your mind in 90 days. Okay. That is it. So I get, some people will think like, I don't have that money. And I get it. If money feels tight, investing in yourself may feel selfish and risky. Totally normal. But it does cost you to stay in cycles of burnout and self-doubt, right? This group experience, I've really priced it affordably in that it's less than a single coaching package if you were to do 1-to-1, yet you're getting 12 calls of support. So you're getting the trainings plus the energetic activation so that you can heal and transform yourself. I'm also going to be increasing that each time I release it. The first time I launched it was less, and it's just going to go up in time, but you know, you're going to have the tools and the results for life. So this is what is on the table is the group project, the 90 days, the 12 calls plus community, plus those bonuses of the step-by-step system, plus the done for you audio for $997. We're kicking this off on July 23rd, so not next week, the week after, which means that by the end of October, you will be knowing how to rewire your mind and how to feel calm, clear, and confident in navigating your inner world and going after what you actually want in life. So just for clarity, these tools are available instantly. So if you decided that this was a right fit for you, you can come in and access that straight away. And then obviously all the live stuff will start after that start date. It's open for enrollment this week. So I'm opening it and I'm closing it this week. The reason I do that is I take one cohort through at a time so that I can give my full attention and to them and to getting them results, and then I reopen it for enrollment again. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, there is a QR code there to scan just to get to the more information on that page. What I'm also doing as well for people that come to the webinar is so if you decide in the next it closes on the 17th. So in the next 5 days, if you decide that it's right for you, I'm also including a confidence meditation. This is a hypnotic rewiring audio to help you rewire your subconscious for more confidence and certainty and strength so that you can speak up and go after what you want. Right. That's included. It's available on my website for $47, but I just chuck it in as a thank you for coming and hanging out with me till the end. That is all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I love to have you here. I am really grateful that you guys are here. Does anyone have any questions that I can help you with?
No questions from me. It was really cool. It was really good. Very interesting stuff. I didn't know anything about, well, I'd heard about theta level, but yeah, and I was almost asleep, so I was doing it well.
Yeah, it's when you get used to it, you can sort of hold it in a more alert state.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a good hack to create change.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I appreciate you coming on. What was
me and Jackie had a bit of a smile because July 23rd is her birthday. So
love it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who was that? Was that Jackie?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm curious what your main takeaway was from all of this.
Oh, that was good.
I just found it really interesting because I'm actually doing kinesiology stuff at the moment. I'm studying it as well, and it's like similar but different, like tapping into the subconscious. So it's a different way of thinking about it, I guess.
Yeah, cool. Beautiful. Thank you. And Rebecca, how did you go if you're still hanging out?
She normally never shuts up.
Yeah.
Maybe she's asleep. You asleep there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just couldn't find my button. No, it was yeah, I thank you for doing that. I actually felt a little bit rough this morning, and then after that meditation I feel really quite good. so that was my takeaway. Love your meditations.
Great. I'm glad it helped in that way. Well, thank you for coming and for trusting the process and doing that with me. You don't know me, so I appreciate you just taking a gamble on a stranger and giving it a go.
Because Loz.
Yes. Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
so much.
you. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. I will see you guys later. I'll probably be in your email soon with some information about the program.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Have a great one. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.